All right. Well, hey, okay. So speaking of coming out and taking one for the team here, what do you think about this Carl Nassib? He came out as the first active NFL player to ever come out as a homosexual gentleman.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's great. I believed you when you texted me that he had been released.
Yeah, that was a joke. That was a joke.
Seriously, I thought I was like, well, if any organization would not lose a single fan,
it's gonna be the Raiders.
It's gonna be the fucking Raiders for cutting a guy for being gay. But here's my two takes on that. First of all, I thought it was cool that Saquon Barkley, his former college teammate, immediately was like, shout out to my brother Carl, we're proud of you or whatever. I thought that was cool. Also forgot entirely that Saquon Barkley was even a person. What a fucking bust he's become. He has next year to prove it, or he's done.
Well, he's crushing it, and then he got injured. It was an injury. I wouldn't call that a bust. He crushed it, and then he turned into a bust.
Averaging under 3 yards a carry, dog.
Come on, no,
look at his numbers. He's not good. He had one good rookie season. He's not.
And then he was injured.
But before he went out with the injury, he was bombing.
Okay, well, we're talking about Carl Nassib here. Okay,
hold on. It's also the same thing's going on with Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott's, but he's a bust. He's a fat bust. Okay,
I don't know. Saquon has next season to prove it, or he might be a fucking backup for the rest of his career. But I thought it was cool that he supported Carl Nassib. The only problem I had was I pay attention to sports a lot. It's mainly the reason why I thought this podcast would work is because not only do I pay attention to sports actively, but when I'm disassociating and zoning out from the world, I look at sports news. So I'm kind of immersed in it. And I gotta be honest with you, it took me a second to remember who the fuck Carl Nassib was.
Oh, yeah, I'm completely unfamiliar.
I realized who he was after a second once I thought about it, but all the articles are like superstar, Raiders superstar. Yeah. They want it to be like an Aaron Rodgers,
of course,
type thing. And it's like, all right, relax. He's just a regular gay guy. Just like he's a regular gay guy playing in the NFL. It's still a big deal. We don't need to inflate his career. He's a solid player. It's good for the sport because, listen, I live near West Hollywood. There are some NFL looking bodies walking around.
Oh, yeah. I lived in West Hollywood. I went out to bars in West Hollywood all the time. There were guys that if I saw them in a 3-point stance, I would fucking turn the other way.
Dude, there's some Aaron Donald looking motherfuckers.
They're truly
gay neighborhood of West Hollywood.
Shredded. Beautiful.
And if homophobia is the only reason we don't get to see these dudes in action, then God bless Carl Nassib, because let's get these guys in there. Let's get them fucking.
Well, there's a few older players. I can't remember exactly who was one of them on Twitter, where they said that they played with some guys who were in private were homosexual gentlemen, and then
the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I've been freaking saying that for 10, fucking 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I thought you had to be gay to be a fucking Chicago Bear. That's what I was told. I'm not telling you that. That's what he told me.
Growing up, I was told that in a few different terms. I was told that kind of thing. You'd have to be no. I was trying very hard to get through this segment. People were saying that back in the day in private, even probably currently now in more in private than. But there's obviously going to be a few guys in the locker room who are not cool with that.
Yeah, but I mean, there's going to be a few guys who aren't cool with everything. I mean, Richie Incognito,
who I think is a pretty fucking cool guy. No, I'm kidding.
Richie Incognito, guess what team he's on?
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Holy guacamole.
Carl Nassib is going to have to line Carl Nassib is a defensive end and he's a fucking guard. So Richie Incognito with all of his American flag tattoos, he probably has MAGA tattooed on him. He's going to have some issues with it. But listen.
And he's going to get run over by fucking Carl Nassib in practice.
But that's what makes sports beautiful. You've got Muslims, Christians, Jews, you've got gays, you've got blacks, you got whites, you got Asians. I mean, you got to learn how to live with each other. And if you don't, you won't make it in the fucking league. I mean, who gives a shit? I was laughing to myself when I heard he came out. I was like, what if this starts a domino? We just find out the NFL is just like an entire
all gay. Everyone's gay. Yeah.
They're all just fucking each other.
Well, that's kind of the same thing with the Cole Beasley thing. Do you think that the complete opposite of the Cole Beasley thing, where this will have more people coming out?
Yes, but I still think it'll be I think the future of gay football players will be players who are born around, who are like in high school now, who will be out before they even get to the NFL.
Yeah.
I think that the players in the NFL, if they're not out now, they probably won't come out until they're retired. But I do think that it'll be more and more frequent with the younger generation for sure. Because, I mean, people in the NFL now who are like 30 years old or whatever, they still grew up in the 90s. Like,
Of course.
So it's just no matter how much it changes for the younger generation, in their head, it's still going to be the 90s. So I don't know. I think people will start to come out more.